Hi, it's Jon Ray. First off, thank you for letting me read my book to you. I'm so appreciative of your support and time. Second, and then I'll get into the book, at the time of this recording, I'm still seeking out a publisher that feels like a good fit for me. If you're a literary agent or a publisher or just someone that knows about that world and resonate with anything in this book, I'd love to hear from you. You can find my contact information in the notes to this audio or at awesomeintuition.com. Thank you all so much. Let's begin. Contrast. Why do we attract scenarios that are displeasing to us? If you are not clear on the reality that you wish to live, you will draw to you certain contrasting events that feel negative to you, so that you can receive more clarity on exactly how you wish to live. When you clearly know what you do not want, you have a springboard to gain clarity on what it is you do want your life to look like. You come into this planet knowing that there will be many diverse opinions, knowing that you have a particular energetic theme that you wish to explore, but you're not necessarily knowing how the theme will play itself out in specifics. You come into the planet and you look at the various ideals and philosophies and behaviors that surround you, and you use them as a springboard, as a mirror, to better understand yourself and determine your own personal preferences. Why do we sometimes attract unpleasant or annoying people into our lives? It is important to remember that everything is being created within your consciousness, so they are actually you. Love your neighbor as yourself. Everyone is living with their own reality construct, their own version of the world, and only occasionally does your construct or perception of reality cross over and interact with their perception. While many people's versions of reality have overlapping viewpoints, and while they are sharing certain ideas, it is certainly your consciousness which is perceiving everything and building the path through the infinitude of parallel experiences that you then interpret as linear reality. Your consciousness is taking the eternal energy frequency of the person in front of you and recreating that energy within your own consciousness at a congruent vibration to you. You are all capable of being any one of an infinite number of potential beings at any moment, yet you usually just continue being the person you've practiced being the most. When you interact with another, you're always perceiving their energy at the potential that shows you who you really are in some way that is valuable at that point in time. Everything you perceive acts as a mirror showing you some aspect of your own vibration. If there is someone that you find to be discouraging or frustrating, or as you might say, annoying, then this person is teaching you something about yourself. It could be that you hold a certain belief or expectation of certain types of people. You say, "Oh, I do not want to be around people from this organization because they always act in this way." And so your experience will be that when you interact with someone from that organization, they will act as you expect them to act. The more that you begin to understand that you can be the anomaly in any situation, and you can draw the anomaly out of everyone around you, even if someone is historically annoying or frustrating or asserts their ideas in a way that is not pleasing to you, the more you are able to recreate the vibrational energy of them in your consciousness as something that is more pleasing to you. Even if 99 out of 100 times a person is annoying or mean or angry, you can draw them to you in the one parallel reality where they are more aligned with your ideas. Everything you perceive must be in vibrational harmony with who you currently are. However, you will oftentimes draw these people to you so that you can have a moment of clarity and understand that you're thinking about your reality in a certain way, that you do have a certain belief system that might be holding you back from that which you wish to experience. Annoying or frustrating people who say something to you that might anger you are actually doing you a service. Your anger or reaction is a signal showing you something that you believe that might be holding you back from the reality you wish to experience. Every person you meet or thing that you experience is actually a gift showing you something about yourself. Do not let the bounce of life prevent you from moving into a parallel experience that is more to your liking. Respond to everything you perceive with love and appreciation, for it is your creation attempting to teach you something about yourself. What if you feel yourself getting annoyed with someone? Is there a way to continue having a conversation with them and shift it to a more positive place? Absolutely. One way that you might begin to soften your vibration, shift your emotions from something negative to something more pleasant, towards various people that you say you're having issues with, is to look for something to appreciate about them. In the frequency of appreciation, you will find that there is much more common ground with all those you interact with, and they will become more congruent with the vibration that you're holding of appreciation. Even if the only reason you can find to appreciate them is for showing you what you do not want, so that you can have more clarity on what it is you do want, that is still operating in a frequency of appreciation. Then you merely shift your thoughts to how good the new desired reality you have uncovered through the contrast feels to think about. Anytime someone is saying something to you that you do not agree with, you might say, because you understand that holding a frequency of appreciation shifts your vibration, in your head might be more appropriate. I am so appreciative to have you in my life. The things that you're saying really make me think and better understand how it is that I want to feel about things. It is important to hear you and acknowledge you because I love using it as a springboard to have more clarity about the life I want to be living. Thank you so much for your opinion. I'm always here to listen to you, for I find that you're passionate about what you're saying. I find that your ideas always inspire thought within me, and that inspiration helps me better understand myself. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for providing me with your perspective so that I might better understand my own perspective and preferences. You do not have to agree with the people before you, but it would serve you to expand your awareness, understand why you created them in that moment, and use that new clarity to fine-tune your focus towards that which you desire your life to be moving forward. In this way, all experience serves you. What is oppression, and why would someone draw oppression into their life? Oppression, as with any contrasting event, is designed as a way to launch you into greater desire. In the greater desire of something, it actually becomes easier for you to bring that thing into manifestation. The greater your desire, the easier it is to manifest the fruit of that desire. If you would turn your attention to the desired outcome that the oppression is inspiring within you, remember, you know what you do not want, so you know what you do want. And simply allow the new desire to flow in as opposed to keeping your attention on the oppression, you could have everything you wish come to you with perfect timing. The person who feels oppressed and the person who feels exhilarated are merely a nanosecond away from one another. In every moment, each of you is a completely new person, standing in a completely new parallel universe of your creation. When you learn to use your imagination to see more of the desired reality than the existing one, everything shifts to support you. This is the definition of faith. Truly, the more that you desire something, the more quickly and the more grandiose a scale it will manifest in your life. However, many of you hold it at arm's length by saying, "Yes, I wish this thing would come to me, but look at what I have in my life right now. There's no way that this thing could come." Even though the manifestation is within grasp, you are focused on the oppression instead of the new inspired thought of freedom. You end up getting more oppression. But that's okay, because the continued oppression just makes your desire for freedom stronger. If you would just release resistance for the tiniest amount of time, freedom would come flowing into your life. So many use their oppression as an excuse to hold the desire which was birthed from that oppression, freedom, away from them by continuing to focus on what they do not want, as opposed to that which they now know with greater clarity they wish for their life to look like. Many believe they cannot have freedom until an entire society has freedom, and therefore their personal manifestation of freedom is likened to carrying an elephant up a mountain. You do not inspire freedom in others by standing at the bottom of the mountain and agreeing that the climb seems impossible. You inspire them by summiting the mountain yourself and then inviting them to join you and bask in the view. Everyone you perceive is a creation of your consciousness. You can reinvent them at any vibration you wish by imagining them at their highest and best potential. To see someone at their potential abundance rather than their current lack is the simplest way to offer healing to another. You do not solve world hunger, clean water, or the energy crisis at the physical level. You heal the planet of these things by envisioning clearly a planet already healed and then shifting to the parallel experience. It might be difficult to fathom, but it can be that easy. It happens through the mechanism of invention. All of a sudden someone says, "Thank God they invented such and such," and the world's problems are solved. The invention or idea that can make your desires for the planet a reality already exists. Focus exclusively on the way it feels to live on a planet already healed, and in this way, you will experience it as reality. Oppression is a choice. Whether you're born into it or just slowly find yourself enslaved and surrounded on all sides by others who refuse to choose something else, it is always a choice. Even if you do not see that it was a conscious choice, you have chosen it from a broader perspective so that you would launch a greater desire of what is possible for you in your life. If you find yourself in an oppressive situation that has come to you later in life, the oppression is merely something that you have drawn to you as an experience to launch a stronger clarity about that which you truly desire, to force you into an understanding that you have more control than you might have originally thought you did. The reality you desire is not years in the making, it already exists. Use your imagination to take you there. Once you begin to accept that you have chosen and created your own circumstances, then you can use what you see as a way to consciously recognize that which you prefer. I am in oppression. I wish to have freedom. By then turning your full attention to the idea of freedom instead of oppression and using your imagination as the mechanism it was designed to be used as, which is creating a certain vibrational frequency through the visualization process, then you literally transport your consciousness to a parallel reality that represents the new desired freedom that the oppression birthed. I have a friend who just has bad luck after bad luck after bad luck, and some people seem to just get thrown a lot of shit in their lives. Why do bad things happen to good people? First off, the idea of good and bad is a human idea. From the broader perspective, these are simply polarities of the same thing. You, from your human perspective, get to choose in every situation the perspective from which you wish to view something. You always get to choose how you will define the thing you are looking at. We understand what you're saying, though. Certain people will say, "I am unlucky. These strange, weird, bad things keep happening to me. I wake up, I stub my toe, I spill my coffee, I get spaghetti all over my shirt, my coworker yells at me, my boss yells at me, I get in an accident in traffic, my husband's mad at me because I was late, my husband never does anything for me, I always have to cook the dinner. Why doesn't my husband cook the dinner?" And yet all of these are your own creations. So why is it that you're creating things that displease you? You put out a vibration by the way you define the world around you, and then you create the perpetuation of that vibration by continuing to define things in the same way. If you have certain patterns of thought around certain things, then you open yourself up to experiencing more of those things. Supposed good people, as you might define them in your society, oftentimes have bad things happen to them because they have a framework or a pattern of thought that leaves them open to those bad things. They have definitions that do not serve them. Just because you have deemed someone good because you agree with their actions does not mean that their patterns of thought are free of fear or that their definitions are in line with the reality they wish to experience. Always, the fear that a good person experiences is drawing to them the very scenarios that they are afraid of. It would serve each of you to redefine the things that you fear or that displease you so you might see them in a new light and therefore create a new reality to experience. Does someone who is a real do-gooder, someone that continuously finds things in situations where their help is needed, actually create situations of people in need all around them so that they can go and do good? What you might term a do-gooder is often, but not always, someone who is perpetuating a belief that others cannot help themselves. In perpetuating that belief, they begin to resonate with the idea that outside assistance is necessary for healing. In that frequency, sometimes a do-gooder will create certain undesirable experiences that require someone else to come in and help them. For until you learn to empower others and see them as already healed, it is difficult to experience that same personal empowerment within yourself or inspire it within others. If you are helping someone, it would serve you to do it because it is joyful for you to help them. It would serve you to do it because you can see them in the fullness of who they really are, and in that vision of them, it is joyful for the two of you to play and remember your fullness together. It does not serve either party for you to help someone because you believe that another cannot help themselves. Anytime you look at someone as being helpless, you're amplifying that vibration of helplessness within them, instead of inspiring them to find the vibration of healing. To truly inspire another, you must see them as already healed. If a body is hungry, feed it. If a wound is open, nurse it. But focus your attention on the well-being that was created by knowing how powerful the one before you really is. Find the feeling place of that well-being. Then begin to hold that feeling in the presence of everyone you meet. This is how you create a planet that is already healed, by imagining it in vivid detail. You mentioned that by being fearful you draw negativity towards you, that being in a fearful pattern or a fearful set of mind could draw unpleasant events towards you. Could you explain that a little more? All fear is just a pattern of thought you have towards a certain idea. If you are afraid of something, it is because you have been practicing some pattern of thought or definition that says that you do not have power over this thing that you fear. Of course, that is a false premise, for you are all-powerful. Everything is being created by you and is responding to your vibration always. If you are afraid of something, you might take some time to sit in a place of non-resistance, a place where you feel calm and balanced and receptive, and ask yourself, what is this fear stemming from? What belief do I hold that keeps me fearful from this thing? What would I have to believe to no longer fear this thing? And then listen for your intuition to give you the answers or reality to manifest them as experience. If there is something that you are fearful about, sometimes the easiest way to get over the fear is to just stand up right next to the feared thing and yell, "I am not afraid of you anymore!" However, it is not necessary to go and amplify the frequency of fear so much that it is right in front of you. You do not necessarily need to experience fear to shift your definition of it. Rather, you can simply choose a different perspective to view that fear, or you can use it as a jumping off point, as a contrasting statement that then points you in the direction of what you actually wish to experience. Then, merely practice a pattern of thought, appreciating the thing that you wish to have happen, the new experience you desire, as opposed to dreading the thing you have historically been afraid will happen. In the practicing of any pattern of thought, you will become more and more congruent in your vibration to that practice pattern of thought, and you will have less access to the frequency of those thoughts of fear, for you will be of a frequency of confidence and well-being. Practice changing your patterns of thought by redefining your fears. Ask yourself, what would I have to believe to no longer fear this thing? Then whatever comes to you, choose that as your new definition. Is contrast necessary? Could we live life without ever bumping into something that is not pleasing to us? Is there any time when something unpleasant happening is a good thing? First, understand that if you're perceiving something or experiencing something, then it is working in your favor. It cannot be another way. Everything is showing you something necessary. It is moving you in a certain direction. It is tuning you in a certain way so that you can flow energy with a certain momentum that allows you to move in the direction of that which you desire. If you are experiencing anything, whether it be fearful or exhilarating, it is serving you. For it is showing you a mirror of who you are, the belief systems that you hold, and the way you define the reality around you. In this way, all experience is valid and beneficial to you. Is contrast necessary? Yes, contrast is necessary for expansion. For if you do not have anything to look at, to compare yourself to, how can you truly know who you are? It is in the comparing of you to something else that you are able to determine speed, determine growth, and determine expansion. The thrill of experiencing in physical reality is to know the joy of expansion. To remember who you really are by knowing what it feels like to forget. It is in the looking at something else, the looking at the contrast around you, that allows you to birth new ideas. In that delicious expansion of new sequences of thought, you can then flow energy towards that thought cloud, and in that new flowing of energy, you create a sequence of events, energy, and thoughts that have never existed before, and therefore expand the universe. It is the expansion of the universe that all of us from a broader perspective take joy and delight in. That is the reason that so many entities wish to incarnate on your planet, because in the incarnation onto your planet, you have the delicious experience of using contrast to birth new desire, new sequences of thought, and then in lining up with those new desires and preferences, you are able to create something that has not been created and then bask in its presence. So our time on Earth and the expansion process of ourselves and our consciousness on Earth has a greater impact on the universe as a whole? Absolutely. Your creation of anything in your life adds new sequences of experience, which open up new potentials that require additional energy to manifest. Thoughts are tangible things at a small enough level, even though they are very, very small. They are something tangible. So when a new thought pattern or sequence of parallel experiences is perceived, it is adding something to the universe. It is creating an expansion by highlighting a newly imagined sequence and unfolding of events, probabilities, and energy. Let's say that one of your beaches is the universe you have created. The beach consists of many grains of sand, and if someone said, well, if you add 1 grain of sand to the beach expands, you would say, well, that doesn't seem to matter. There's no way that anyone would be able to tell that the beach got bigger, so how's the expansion relevant? However, if billions and billions of people each bring 1 grain of sand, now it becomes something that you can actually experience, a pile of sand. You can actually see the expansion of the beach, and so it is with your thoughts. In your universe, your thoughts influence everyone's thoughts, so each thought has an exponential effect. Anytime you use contrast to birth a new desire and then line up emotionally with the new desire by expecting that it is making its way to you as manifestation, you are creating something new, and your thought adds to the expansion of the whole. Think enough thoughts about anything with zero resistant energy, and soon you will see the physical manifestation of it in front of you. It is impossible to hold a pure vibration of something you wish to experience without your consciousness shifting to the parallel reality which represents your desire. Hold true to your desires. Imagine them in greater and greater detail and become a visionary. Then watch your entire world shift into something wonderful. When we see something we do not like, or when we are experiencing something that we do not like, what is the best practice for moving towards something that is more pleasing to us? Oftentimes, in the heat of the moment, as you might say, it is difficult to see any positive outcome. The idea that many of you were taught as children, where you count to 10 when you get angry, can be a way to distance yourself from a situation and look at it from multiple perspectives. Once you disconnect yourself from the emotional energy of a certain scenario, you can then give yourself access to more intuitive perspectives of how you might view that scenario. In stepping away from a scenario, you can say, now I know what I do not want. What is it that I do want? In that shifting of perspective, focusing upon the outcome that you truly desire, you now are moving energy towards the thing that you do want. Often the easiest way to release resistance is to walk away from a situation and return to it when you're in a better vibrational place. However, if you immediately go back to the situation and say, well, I'm here and I can't go anywhere else because I'm already here and this isn't going to change, then in acknowledging what exists and not giving credence to a new possibility, by not driving energy towards the potential of something else, you perpetuate what exists. Every time you expect things to be the same, you perpetuate the things that you are already experiencing. But if every time you see something that you do not like, you can say, oh good, now I have more clarity about what it is that I do want, and use it as a springboard of thought, now every contrasting event serves you. But to receive the benefit, you must actually do this practice in your day-to-day life. What lessons are we supposed to learn from contrast? There are no lessons that you're ever supposed to learn. If you choose to be a student of the world and wish to learn certain things from the events around you, then by all means learn from them. However, remember that the best student never becomes a master. To step into mastery, you must accept that you are already the master. A master remembers what they have always known. They do not need to relearn it. Nothing is designed as a lesson for you. However, you do come in with certain energetic themes and place that you wish to explore. The idea is not to learn lessons, though, not to learn from your struggle, but rather to use any contrasting event in your reality as a springboard of thought to then invent the reality that you wish to experience, and remember your connection to the wisdom of your higher consciousness. You did not ever, from your broader perspective before you were born, say that you would come into the planet, look at contrasting events, and then say, I guess I'm going to have to just accept this and experience it for the rest of my life. You knew that you were creating an entirely new universe for yourself to experience in every billionth of a second, and so you knew that at any given point in time you could simply decide something else and then live that. Before you were born, the idea of contrast was something rather exciting, because it meant that you would always be inspired in so many delicious ways, that you would have an infinite number of potentials to choose from, and so it is on your planet. There is contrast all around you, and if you are looking to move in a certain direction, then certainly you will create the contrast that will inspire you in that direction. This is why whatever you are experiencing is serving you. It is your choice to see the contrasting experiences in your life as beneficial or detrimental, and to use them as the trampoline that bounces you towards your new desired reality. When you allow contrast to inspire you to line up with the new desired reality, and then follow that gut feeling of exhilaration and excitement wherever it leads, you shift your frequency, and your consciousness literally travels from the reality that you're currently experiencing to the new parallel reality that you wish to live in. And this way, you may literally have anything you desire.